High winds have been a key ingredient of the devastating Los Angeles wildfires, and after a brief pause at the end of last week, they are forecast to intensify through the middle of this week. It is certain to complicate the fight against blazes that are likely to be one of the costliest natural disasters ever in the U.S. Here's a deeper look at the science behind winds, including what it is, what causes it, and how it behaves in the geography around Southern California. It's the movement of air that results from differences in atmospheric pressure across a landscape. The greater the pressure, the stronger the winds, and topography matters as well. Treeless mountain peaks are typically windier without those trees or buildings, and different parts of Earth, that is water and land, or the heat from sunlight, at different rates, they shape the winds. Southern California's winds typically flow onshore from the Pacific, carrying moist air onto land. The Santa Ana winds are warm currents that move in the opposite direction. They typically occur from September through May and are so dry that they are linked with some of the worst wildfires the region has ever seen. And that is in part because the lack of humidity in the air that contributes to vegetation quickly drying. When the wind rushes into Southern California from the northeast, as it does during a Santa Ana, it's coming from Nevada and western Utah, over and between the mountains and in between.
You have these mountains to the north and to the east, and what happens is the winds kind of butt up against those mountains. They kind of go over the mountains, and then they kind of come crashing down on the other side and accelerate as they do so. So it's not only those little gaps that we talked about earlier, between the mountains. The winds that don't go funneling through the gaps can also just kind of come riding up and over, almost kind of like a roller coaster, essentially.
And now where the wildfires are burning, those winds contribute to the fire's speed and erratic movement, since air pressure is so much more variable in mountainous terrain compared to flat land.
This is a graphic that goes through Wednesday morning, illustrating where we think the strongest winds are going to be in the Los Angeles area. The pink shading area here is 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts. And then the darker pink area here, just north of downtown. Unfortunately, this is pretty close to where those active fires are going on. This is where we could see 60 to 80 miles per hour wind gusts.
Although it is difficult to make a connection between climate change and the Santa Ana winds, but meteorologists noted that research shows drought conditions will worsen in the future, along with climate change, which means increased fire risks from high winds.
That it has the best chance again of saving.
Heavy rainfall events can also be more intense because the atmosphere can carry more moisture. And interestingly, the same effect, the fact that the atmosphere can carry more moisture, also implies that it can actually extract more moisture from the vegetation and from the surface, and therefore also may make droughts more intense.